How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiman and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Berserk chapter 380. So what did I think about this week's chapter? So to start things off, I just want to say that this week's chapter was really good in once again characterizing Guts and where he's at right now in his mental state, as well as it really gave us more depth into Salat, because we get to see a lot of development with him and a great interaction between him and Guts. You know, a slight spoiler for the chapter, where we see that Salat really opens up to Guts and he has some disdain towards him. We also get to see a big cliffhanger towards the end involving Schierke, which I can't wait to talk about. Now, before I go any further with this week's chapter, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Berserk as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's chapter. So this week's chapter starts off where we see that right from the get-go, you know, everything is being, you know, blinded by the light that Farnese, you know, she showed up, how she pretty much saved the day last week's not last week's, but the last chapter. And who's there to praise her and glaze her? Our goat, Roderick himself. The Giga Chad himself is there, you know, praising his queen, and is like, wow, we really got saved by Farnese again. You know, we gotta step up, guys. You know, her knight, her beloved Roderick, you know, for the rescue. No, but it was great, you know, seeing just the glazing that Farnese got, because, hey man, listen, she earned it. That was great what she did last week's chapter. It really showcased how far she's gone as a mage, and I can't wait to see, like I said in my previous chapter, when eventually Schierke does wake up, you know, her praising her student, which would be really nice and really sweet. So I can't wait to see that. And pretty much as the chapter continues, we see that pretty much the light has been taking down all these trolls, and we see that the goblins, whatever, and we see that the Kushins are like, yeah, with this light we can even defeat the Falcon, maybe the Falcon of Light himself. And it's like, all right, guys, tone it down one bit at a time, because we also see the other witches, you know, stepping up and helping Farnese and, you know, taking down these trolls. And eventually, as all that is happening, we catch up with Isidro and Hassan, and they're just vibing. But an interesting thing is that Puck is like, wait, something's wrong. And that's where we cut to the jail cell underneath the dungeon where, you know, Guts is being kept at. And we see that pretty much throughout it all that Raxus has showed up. And at that point, we see that pretty much Guts is like, so you're here, my angel of death. And we see that this Guts is like very, what's the word I'm trying to see? He's very indifferent about the whole situation, because he feels, at least in my point of view, that he, like I said, we known for a while that Guts has really no, you know, point of living, in the sense that that's what he's thinking. You know, Casca got taken away. Everything has been pretty much shattered. In his whole world has been shattered and taken away once again. And he's been at his lowest point, arguably since the eclipse, around this point in the story. So we see that he has suffered a lot of despair, and that's why when Raxus shows up, you know, it's not the Guts that we know where, you know, it's like, oh, I'm gonna try to fight, you know, the struggler himself. Like, no, he is like welcoming death. He's like, go ahead, like, I don't care. And this was very depressing to see, like, especially Guts, just how down he looked. And, you know, Raxus, you know, he breaks the cell. He's about to, like, pretty much murder Guts, cold-bloodedly. Arguably, we don't know why exactly he would want to target Guts. I mean, we do know that he sends all that despair and all that, but I want to think like maybe he knows, well, he knows about the brand, so obviously that's why he would be attracted to him. But you know, as he goes down there and he's trying to pretty much kills Guts, who steps up to save the day? Salat, ironically, you know, one of Guts's like old enemies slash rivals. Or at least Salat is a rival to Guts. Guts doesn't even really care about him like that. But an interesting note is that, you know, he saves the day, and he murders Raxus. Like, Raxus gets eliminated, at least from what we see in this chapter. For all we know, maybe he like recovered, or he might have slided away. But he honestly seems like he died, because even Raxus himself is like, nicely done, young master. And he, like, you know, falls down, and eventually is just the mask that remains. So great portrayal on Salat's part. You know, he got a rare W, which is something that we don't see Salat get a lot in the story. So he got a huge dub, you know, taking one of, you know, Griffith's like assassins, like one of his top tier like one of his top tier soldiers slash you know, apostles. That's a great deed. So good job, Salat. Mad props. And as Salat, you know, eliminates Raxus, he then turns his attention to Guts, and my man is furious, and rightfully so, because we see that pretty much Guts was like, he was accepting death, and you see that Salat is disgusted by the whole ordeal. He's like, What were you not fighting back? And he literally grabs Guts and he's like, you know, grabbing him by the shirt. And he's like, just like, what are you doing? Like, you really were gonna accept death? Like, are you stupid? Like, where is, like, he pretty much is telling him, like, where is your passion? Where is your conviction? And he didn't really word it. He didn't say all the stuff like that I'm saying, but he did say, like, why weren't you fighting back and stuff like that. But in my interpretation of, you know, in a deeper level, might have been like, where is the Guts that I know? Where is the guy that wasn't afraid of death when I fought him? Where is this legendary black swordsman? He is not here. This is not the legend himself. At least that's how I portray Salat, you know, as all this is saying to Guts, you know, that's how I'm portraying the whole ordeal, where he's telling him, like, you're washed. In simplest terms, like, what are you, like, you're not the Guts that I know. It's like, you would the Guts that I know would have never accepted death. And eventually you see the Bakuraka, like, you know, they really pull Salat back. They're literally holding my man back. And as all that is happening, Dab was just looking at Guts, and, you know, as well as the rest of the Bakuraka, and Salat are just being pulled out. And you see Guts just depressed. You know, he's handcuffed against the wall, and my man looks defeated. He looks drained. He just looks like he's accepted his fate, and it's very depressing. It's very sad seeing Guts, you know, in this state of mind, where he pretty much has just given up on everything. And it's crazy that if you had told me that Salah was going to be the one that gives, like, snaps Guts out of it, I would have been, you know, I would have been like, you're completely insane for saying that. But I don't think Guts will necessarily snap back because of Salat's exchange with him. But I think it's going to be a ripple effect that Guts might be like, you know what am I doing? My theory has always been Rickert, and talking about Rickert, we do see him as, you know, as everything gets taken down with the trolls and all that, and eventually Erica catches up with him, and, you know, they're hugging, and it's like, oh, I'm glad you're safe. And Rickert, in the back of his mind, you know, he already plans ahead. He's like, I hope that war isn't, you know, invading us now. Is Kushan Empire going to become like a battlefield as well? Is a war coming here? And like I've said for a while, I think that Rickert will be the guiding light that brings Guts back to reality the second that they do meet, and, you know, hopefully Rickert talks some sense into him. But I feel like Salat might be like, hey, Rickert, get your man, your black swordsman friend, talk to him or something, because he is not the black swordsman that I fought years ago. So get him, you know, get him back on the schedule. Or what's a better phrase? Get him back to reality. Like, snap him out, because we need him to fight the Falcon of Light, you know, to fight Griffin and all that. But they definitely will need Guts. So I'm sure that Rickert will talk some sense into Guts, and hopefully, you know, everything gets fixed, at least fingers crossed. And talking about fixing things, we catch up with Schierke, and we see that she's still in the astral realm. You know, she's still sleeping while Morda's over taking care of her. And we see that Schierke is just going through the astral realm, and then from the looks of it, she's trying to find where Casca is. And eventually she pinpoints her to Falconia, which we knew that she was at Falconia. But Schierke and the rest of the party will know eventually when Schierke tells them the information. But we see that Schierke pretty much at the end of the chapter is just like, don't worry, Miss Casca, I will try to find you so we can, like, rescue you. And we see that she's just hovering all over Falconia. And that's pretty much how the chapter ends. It ends in a very interesting note, because we now see that Schierke, apparently in the next chapter, we'll see that she's going to try to pretty much catch up with Casca and hopefully regain Casca's memories to some regard, because we do know that they're still there. Right now, Casca is kind of like in a limbo, at least from the last time we saw her a few chapters ago. We've seen that she's kind of just like in this like state of like a nightmare, where she's literally living like an autopilot. In other words, like, she's just numb to everything. And I'm wondering, and she has those snaps like where she pretty much gets her memories back and she fights the guards and all that, but eventually she gets dumbed down by one of Griffith's apostles. So I'm wondering if Schierke's magic might be able to overcome that. Maybe she'll be able to free Casca from, you know, the mental shackles and the mental cage that Griffith has a hold of her. So a lot of interesting notes to point out, and a lot of great stuff to see in the next week, in the next chapter, which I'm very excited for. But with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Berserk, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.